Meghan Kelly actually came out with an interesting take on Epstein and Trump. Just listen to what Meghan Kelly said.
This person has told me from the start, years and years ago,
talking about somebody she knows that she doesn't want to name,
that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this.
And you are repeating this view.
That he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I
that's not barely legal.
Yeah, that's still actively illegal for years. You still have years before it's legal.
Like what?
realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just...
Then why are you repeating it with absolutely no pushback?
And why are you repeating it and saying it incorrectly? Barely legal means 18, 19, 20. This is illegal. And you can't, like, even if you're reporting on someone's view, you can't say, oh, he was into the barely legal type, when it's just objectively false.
She's defending this, in effect, by presenting this as a legitimate viewpoint. She says, this isn't my viewpoint, but she's providing it as a viewpoint with zero pushback. This is her defending it.
Giving you facts.
I'm giving you facts, she says.
He wasn't into, like, 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie, now they call it child sexual abuse material, on his computer.
I think kiddie was the slang term. There was always a more official term for it. She's acting like, you know, snowflakes are changing words around or something. Like, please.
Also, she said 15 who could pass for younger, but a passerby would think, oh, they're legal. First of all, no 15-year-old looks 19 or 20. There's not a single 15-year-old out there who actually genuinely looks like 20 outside of social media. And also, if they look younger than they are, what 14, 13, 12-year-old looks 19, 20? What world is this not a defense?
She's just making excuses for a monster. And, you know, part of me for a while kind of held some skepticism about the Jeffrey Epstein stuff because the right was making this big deal out of it, you know, years ago. And I kind of wanted to get like a level head here and understand what was happening from an objective viewpoint. And the deeper that I dug into this, the more I came to find that he was a monster, like a truly evil, depraved human being, Jeffrey Epstein was. And Donald Trump knew that about him and accepted it and liked it about him and participated. Tens of thousands of videos of child sexual abuse material. Tens of thousands of videos of it. That is vile and evil and wrong. There's a point at which sexual involvement or whatever becomes less harmful on like a logarithmic scale. And you can look at this in studies. It starts at like 15, it's harmful, period. It's harmful. 16, still harmful, but less so. 17, still harmful, but less so. 18, and it keeps going down. 18 is about the point at which people can make their own choices about this, and it's okay. But it can still be harmful to people, and they need to come to this on their own terms and not have it pushed on them like Jeffrey Epstein was doing, right? That's why the age of consent is where it is, because it's actually damaging in odd ways you wouldn't expect. Let me show you an example. There's a website called Broken Crayons. When kids are taken advantage of, they show odd things that don't make any sense to adults, or that I certainly don't understand why this happens. When they've been taken advantage of at 8 years old, for example, they draw their abusers with pointy fingers and pointy teeth. There's something in our psychology that pushes us to kind of connect pointy things like sharp teeth with danger. And, you know, 8-year-olds will draw that. Or having no arms. They draw pictures with no arms. It means they feel like they're helpless. You're looking at a drawing by an 8-year-old girl That's her on the left with no arms. The smiling boy is her older brother, and the animal is how she drew her mom. Nobody knew at the time, but they were both abusing her. When the doctors found out, they looked back at this picture. That's when they realized the girl was floating with no arms and no mouth. They say this means she felt helpless and voiceless, a major clue of in drawings. I'm going to have to censor some of the drawings as we go through. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but if you just, some of them are here. This is a good one right here. Pointy fingers, pointy teeth, pointy toes on this one. Here's a drawing by an 8-year-old boy. He drew one of his dad's friends. The teacher didn't see anything wrong with it at the time. Then they found out the man was making the boy do bad things. Looking back at this drawing, the doctors saw how sharp the man's teeth and fingers were. It matched the way the other kids drew these things. Another sign found too late. The point is that it's mentally damaging and it manifests itself in ways you wouldn't expect when kids experience things like this. And that goes all the way up to 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, even older for some people. You know, some people will experience emotional trauma that manifests in this kind of way all the way up to 20 years old in ways you just don't understand why your mind is doing this or whatever. So you can tell me until you're blue in the face, Meghan Kelly, that it's not 8-year-olds. We put the number at 18 as a society for a reason. Okay, it's damaging to people. It's harming people. It's not acceptable, especially if this dude is 60 years old, like Donald Trump was when he said, "Can you believe it? I'm going to be dating this 10-year-old girl in 10 years." It's dangerous to society and unacceptable is the point. And she's sitting here justifying it. Well, it's not pedophilia. It's iphibophilia. I don't care what you want to call it. It's damaging. It is damaging to people, and it should be banned.
Honest, I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matters anymore.
Or anything else.
Well, she's suddenly denying that Epstein had any of these videos now. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so I don't know what's true about him, but we have yet to see anybody come forward and say, I was under 10. I was under 14.
Bro, what? Are you kidding me? A ton of people have come out. There are like hundreds of victims that have come out and talked about this. Some very young, 13 years old. One girl, Katie Johnson, was 13, and she sued Donald Trump because the statute of limitations for a criminal charge was already up. So she sued him, claiming that he forced her to have a lesbian relationship with another girl in front of him. Donald Trump, not Epstein, Trump. And she withdrew the lawsuit because of the death threats that came. This is like years and years and years ago. Trump, the more I look into this, the more convinced I become that Donald Trump is a full co-conspirator with Epstein. Like they were involved with each other and working together.
When I first came within his purview, you can say that's a distinction without a difference. I think there is a difference. There's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. You know, it's just,
mentally there isn't for those kids. There isn't a difference for them. Like it's still damaging to those kids, and it's still morally wrong. Unfortunately, there is a high percentage of people in the world that are into 18 plus. That's why it's a category on a lot of adult entertainment websites, and that's just what it is. That's disturbing and odd to me, but not illegal. So I kind of and it's not hurting anybody like for 18 plus. So I guess I'm just, whatever. That's not my business, although I think it's creepy and odd. But a 15-year-old, 14, 13, 12-year-old being trafficked, and Donald Trump was his best friend for 10 years and knew and was there involved. Meghan Kelly is vile and evil to say something like this. This is wrong.
yeah, whatever. It's sick. Because every time we start talking about Epstein, it makes your skin crawl. You're right. The whole thing is just disgusting.
Didn't she literally just justify all the stuff that he did? Didn't we just sit here for 2 minutes listening to her do that? What is wrong with her? I would have expected this from a male MAGA nutcase like Glenn Beck or something. But Meghan Kelly, why are you defending pedophiles? That is disgusting. Get help.